Hello everyone. Welcome to the 28th video of the Adobe After Effects tutorial from beginner to advanced. If you want to learn the After Effects software completely, please subscribe to my channel. In this video, you will learn these topics: animating an object along a path, animating on a path from a shape, animating on paths from Adobe Illustrator. I have already prepared this project, which you can download under this video in the description section. In this project, I plan to first draw a path, and then by moving along this path, we will move the plane from point 1 to point 2. So I select the pen tool and disable the fill and change the stroke color. Now I draw a definite path from point 1 to point 2. In order to create a curve for the path, I select the Convert Vertex tool and create the curve by left-clicking and dragging on one of the vertices. Now I open the layer of this shape, then I open the Contents option, Shape 1 and Path 1. I select the Path option and copy it by holding Ctrl+C. Now I select the plane layer and press the letter P on the keyboard so that the position option appears. I select the position and press the Ctrl+V button so that the root is pasted on the plane's position layer. In this way, two keyframes are created in the timeline panel. In fact, a keyframe is created for each point on the path. You can also see that the plane is at the beginning of the root. I turn off the shape layer and hit the spacebar to start the animation. In this way, the plane moves from point 1 to point 2. In order for the plane to follow the direction of the path correctly, I right-click on the plane layer and select the Auto Orient option from the Transform section. In this window, I select the Orient Along Path option and press the OK button. In order for the plane to have a smoother movement at the beginning and at the end of the route, I right-click on the first keyframe and select Easy Ease Out option. I right-click on the last keyframe and select Easy Ease In. I put the time indicator on my last key and hit the letter N to repeat the movement continuously. I press the space button. You can see that the plane starts moving slowly at the beginning and stops slowly at the end of the route. To make the size of the plane appear a little bigger along the way, I select the plane layer and press Shift+S to reveal the scale option. Now I create 4 keyframes for scale. By holding the Shift button, I select intermediate keyframes and set the scale value to 25. I press the space button to run the animation. You can see that from keyframes 1 to 2 and from keyframes 3 to 4, the size of the plane is fixed. And from keyframe 2 to keyframe 3, the size of the plane becomes bigger. If you want to change the animation speed, select all the keyframes and drag by holding the Alt key and left-clicking. I press the space button. I will repeat the same thing again, but this time I will make the frames closer to each other. I press the space button. You can see that the animation speed is increased a lot. Now, if you need to reverse the movement of the plane in the animation, select all the keyframes and right-click on one of the keyframes and select Time Reverse Keyframes. I press the space button. Now you can see that the plane's movement is reversed. Now I open another project. In this project, I plan to make the Earth revolve around the Sun by creating a closed shape and choosing it as a path. For this, I select the Ellipse tool and set the fill and stroke values to 0. Note that no layer is selected in the timeline. I draw an oval like this. Now I open the shape layer and from the contents and ellipse 1 section, I right-click on the ellipse path 1 option and select the convert to Bezier path option. In this way, you can see that I change ellipse path 1 to path 1. I open path 1 and select the path option and copy it with Ctrl+C. Now I select the earth layer and press the letter P to activate the position. I press the Ctrl button +V so that the path is pasted on the position. I press the space button. In this way, the earth moves along the path. I will slightly change the distance between the keyframes. Note that in order to make the animation more natural, we must reduce the scale value when the ground moves away. So, I select the ground layer and press the letter S while holding Shift so that the scale also appears. Now I create 4 keyframes for scale in the timeline. I create the scale keyframes below the position keyframes. Holding the Shift key, I select the first and last keyframes and set their value to 10. I set the scale value of the middle keyframes to 25. We can also determine its value by double-clicking on each key. Now I'm going to decrease the opacity when the terrain is moving away. So, I select the ground layer and press T while holding Shift so that opacity also appears. So I create 4 keyframes for opacity. Now, by holding the Shift button, I select the first and last keyframe and set the opacity value to 40%. I put the time indicator on my last key and hit the letter N to repeat the movement continuously. I press the space button to watch the animation together. I open the next project. In After Effects, we can specify an Illustrator file as the path. To do this, first right-click on the Illustrator layer in the Timeline panel and select the Create Shape from Vector Layer option after the Create section. In this way, the Illustrator layer is hidden and a shape layer is added. Now I open the shape layer and copy the path with Ctrl+C. I select the shark layer and press the letter P to make the position appear and paste with Ctrl+V. Now you can see that the path is created in another part of the composition, and the keyframes are also created in the timeline. I hold the left click on one of the points and place the path in the desired place. I select the keyframes and drag while holding the Alt button to slow down the animation speed. I press the space button to play the animation. Now, in order for the shark to rotate along with the path, I right-click on the shark layer and select Auto Orient from the Transform section. I select the Orient Along Path option in this window and press the OK button. I turn off the shape layer and press the space button. You can see the shark following the path. Remember that you can activate the rotation by holding Shift+R and set the object's rotation direction manually. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching this tutorial till the end. Please like the video and leave a comment for me. Subscribe to see more tutorials. I see you next time.